Hello, Dislike community. Today we're going to be talking about the second part of my meta-analysis series, which units are worth looking out for. And today we're going to be looking at very useful units, Queen Mother being the first of which. She's going to be a really, really strong unit for PvP and PvE. There's some times in Infinity Tower where all your units start off silenced, and she's going to be able to clear that silence right away in order for you to be able to clear certain content. She's incredibly good. We're going to put her in the very useful category. The second very useful unit I want to talk about is Yuntron, especially at R2. He begins to dish out a whole bunch of damage. In longer extended fights, he's going to dish out more damage than Ophelia, and not sure if you guys know, but Ophelia does a heck ton of damage. So he's definitely up there as far as being one of the best damage dealers in the game. Definitely want to look out for him. Tricky is an amazing unit to have. He dispels, he stuns, he petrifies. He's a really good PvP and PvE unit. His base speed makes him a really good controller unit for PvP. I really like this unit, and I think he belongs in the very useful category. Hyde is incredibly good for PvP. He's not that good in PvE, but because of how well he excels in PvP content, and we have things like Hollow Battle, Knockout, and Point War, I'm definitely going to put him into the very useful category where he belongs. Gabriel is damn near a god tier unit, but she's almost there, so we're going to put her in the very useful category. You definitely want to put your ability mon on her. If you don't know what unit to use Gabriel. She's one of the best units in the game. At R6, she's very useful. Any other resonance tier, she's probably just useful, so I kind of wanted to touch up on her. Lucas is a very useful unit, especially when you got him with max ability mon. He's a great unit for PvE. He clears he clears buffs for the enemy team. He's a multi-hit unit, which helps out a lot when you have a unit like Embla on your team. You put him on a stun set, he has those multiple attacks, and he has a high chance of stunning the enemy team. He's just a great overall unit, and what makes him very useful is his AP absorption. With the right team composition, you could prevent your enemies from taking a turn, period. So he's definitely a very useful unit. I don't know if I mentioned Clara being god tier, but if she's not god tier, she's still a very useful unit. Sienna is a very useful unit. Most AP manipulators are going to be very useful units because of how you could set up your team comps in PvE. The less turns your enemy takes, the better. So she's a very useful unit. Ahmed is a very useful unit. Just because he's able to bring down your abilities by 1, he's great, and he's a massive healer. He increases speed, he increases damage. He's just a great unit all overall, and he multi-hits, so you could put him on a speed set, a healing set, a stun set, and he's a very versatile unit that definitely belongs in the very useful categories. Kind of want to mention him. He's god tier for Hollow Battle, but in all other content, I don't know, maybe he's just useful. Brewster is either a god tier unit or a very useful unit. I'm not sure if I mentioned him, but he just dishes out a massive amount of damage, and he's very useful. He also has a little bit of control in his kit. So Brewster is definitely a very useful unit, if not god tier. Abigail is a very useful unit, definitely used in PvP and PvE. I think Ocean Wave set is the best on her, but she's also really good with speed sets. If you could get her over 200 speed, very useful unit indeed. Ophelia, very useful unit. One of the better damage dealers in the game. Definitely recommended for, DPS if you need a wind type fighter unit. Leora, I'm not sure if she's a god tier unit, but she's damn sure a very useful unit at the very least. She has a ton of control in her kit. Ashley's a very useful unit. She just has a lot in her kit. If you get her to R2, she gives a whole team a defense up bonus, which is really, really good in itself. She's an anti-cleave unit, so whenever the enemy takes a turn, she's able to steal a turn from them. Helps you deal additional true damage. Just a very, very good unit. Very useful category. Let's see who else. Camille is a very useful unit. She dishes out a whole bunch of damage. She extends debuffs. I definitely recommend this unit. Great unit to have, especially if you're going with like a bleed comp. She's great. Ethan is probably god tier at R2, pretty useless before then. And that's about it. That's the very useful category for legendary units. Like and subscribe.